Hey, it's Vu, and today I'm going to be doing a demo review here. MR Joe, this is Gold Nova. Fucking motherfucker, I gotta restart this shit. You guys should see how many fucking times when I'm making an actual video I restart it after like the first 30 seconds because I'm not happy with like the way I started it. Fuck. Hey, it's Vu, and today I'm going to be doing a demo review of Mr. Joe here. This is Gold Nova 2, just to prove to you guys that I do lower rank demo reviews. And I want to mention one thing. Very important. I am no longer getting to all the demos in chronological order. I'm just getting to them. I'm trying to get to ones that come new. Because I feel like I'm not helping anybody. I've got so many fucking demo reviews to get to. I feel like I'm not helping people when I'm getting to like month and a half, 2-month old demo reviews. And with like 70 in my inbox, that's just not going to happen. So I'm going to be choosing specific demo reviews to get to. So when you put your message out, try and give a detailed message so that I'm tempted to get to it. So be like, rank, name, things you're trying to work on, you know, that type of thing, and make sure you upload it if possible to Mediafire or Dropbox, just so that I can make sure I want to get to it. But I'm going to try and get to stuff that's 1 or 2 weeks old. So if your stuff's over a month old, feel free to resend it, and I'll definitely try my best to get to it the second time around. But I definitely think I'm not going to be able to get to all of these ones, and I don't want to waste everybody's time going through them chronologically to the point where I'm like 3 months behind, and it's just not going to help anybody. So
Follow me.
here we go. This is going to be, again, Gold Nova 2, so
I will lead the way.
alright, running out middle. Okay, first of all, I do like jumping around that corner. Now, a lot of people aren't going to recognize this at higher levels, but jumping around a corner, like, okay, a USP is going to be, like, look at this guy. He was probably hugging that left corner. His cursor was probably, like, right there, right, when you came across. So if you peek right into it, there's a good chance that he one-shots you. However, if you jump across that, then he has to reposition his aim, and you're peeking with 2 people at once as your teammate peeks inside as you jump across. It's actually a really effective tactic. There's not many people do it at any level. It's really awesome. However, I'm going to assume you're in matchmake, but you got to try and urge your team not to do strats like this, because this type of strat is never going to work. You're fighting long-range engagements with weapons that aren't as strong as their weapons. You're never, I mean, if you win that, it's only because you got lucky. You should be losing it nearly every time. So there's no reason for you to be forcing an engagement like that. Just go, like, rushing B is really good. Rushing A is okay, but the most common thing and the most successful thing you're going to find is probably going to be rushing towards B. Yeah. Here, you need to be heading towards site. Sitting in checkers isn't going to do your team any good. You need to start heading towards site fairly quickly. Like, your team is fighting. Okay, you see your team here? They're fighting that angle. What you want to be doing here is supporting them by
really in touch with my fans, and I know what they like.
And then attacking those guys from a closer angle. And then so what'll happen is it'll be like, these guys attacking. So, like, one
really
is these guys attacking,
and I know what they
and
like.
then 2 is you running up and then attacking, and then 3, they run up and then they attack, and they're supporting you, and you're supporting each other as you continue to move forward and make things better. So sort of like this. However, opposite to what you want to do with a rifle. With a rifle, you want to hug like back walls to peek out at long range against other rifles, just so you have a better angle. With Glocks, you want to try and peek out closer. Now, maybe not hugging the wall like that, but you want to peek out as close as possible while still having a good angle where you're not kind of getting surprised. You also don't generally want to have all 3 of your players stand up in sight, but whatever. See, button, not necessarily the gun that I would recommend to buy, however, it's okay. One thing you need to recognize here is, why do you need that smoke? Like, think about, on a gun round, you want that smoke so that you can smoke that guy off, head into sight, clear out other angles, then clear out that spot. However, why do you need it against pistols? Like, what is the benefit there? I always recommend that against pistols, you only use as few smokes and flashes as possible. You know, you use a couple flashes and maybe 1 smoke, just so that they can't use those to their advantage. Because pistols, like riflers, they don't want to take a risk and jump through a smoke because it's super dangerous. It could go really wrong and you could get immediately killed. However, with a pistol, you want to take a risk like that. So you see a smoke in front of you, hide in it, try and surprise someone, jump through it, surprise people, get easy kills. You don't want to make it easy for people. So don't throw smokes unless it's absolutely necessary.
Terrorists win. Go, go, go. Let's go. Let's throw the flashback.
So here peeking mid, don't jump across in this scenario. You want to strafe across because if they're, you know, the most likely thing they're going to be doing is heading up here towards vents with pistols or maybe heading across here like that. And in both scenarios, you jumping only means they're going to have more time to shoot at you before you can shoot back. And not only that, but now you're completely committed. Think about it like this. They have 5 people running up mid. They're going to kill you before you land. But even if you don't die before you land, you're stuck now. You have to fight. Like, look where you are. You cannot fall back. Whereas if you quick peek around that corner and like strafe out and peek, then if you see 5 people, you're like, fuck that, I'm leaving. Like, I want to go back into my spawn, and you can get away and you don't immediately like cause your own death. So there, lurking, I feel like is a perfectly good idea on SMG rounds, because with full guns, I think it's generally not a great idea, because, I mean, you started to lurk there when it was still 5-on-5. So when it's still 5-on-5, if they have guns, you have to be aware that their team could certainly shut down your team, and then you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, really trying to find kills. However, if they have pistols, then your team's very likely to be able to take control of an area, and so lurking is a good idea because their team's generally going to be trying to flank as quickly as possible, right? They're going to be trying to flank quickly and catch you off guard, so having someone lurk is actually a really good idea because your team's pretty much guaranteed to take the site in the first place, so there's no reason not to. So here with an AK, don't throw a flash like that. Like, look, all you did was just blind both your teammates. There's no point in throwing a flash like that. Don't try and get too intricate. You're playing in a matchmake game. There's no reason to get overly intricate here. Like, your team is all running out one way. Don't try and throw weird flashes and smoke and stuff. And like this smoke as well. Your team was already in sight. Like, what good does that smoke do? Always when you throw a smoke or a flash or a nade, you always want to have a clear reasoning behind it. Why do I throw this smoke? Well, you might want to throw that smoke earlier so you can block off forklift or quad, and then you can clear out over here, and then you can head over into sight and then clear out quad, right? But they've already cleared out all over here, right? So why do you need to block that off? That's the only place they could be. All you're doing there is allowing that guy that might be sitting right where you are now, he could be sitting right here and looking at that smoke, and then you can't really push him because he's behind his smoke, and he can delay for his team, and he can really screw you up. So you always got to have a clear situation and a clear reasoning behind throwing your nades. Just don't throw them for no reason. So that smoke does make sense. However, I feel like it's a little bit kind of telling. And running through the smoke with the nade out, clear quad, man. Like, why do that? Why, is there a reason for that? And not only that, that's so bad because what he could have done there is instead of killing you before you plant, he kills you after you plant, then kills your teammate, and then defuses. And this chicken guy is completely fucked. Like, just planting there, you gotta make sure you're covered when you try and plant. You also don't want to plant when they can just kill you and defuse the bomb instantly. Like, it's bad. Okay, so again, working towards mid here when they could have rifles and ops, this is a disadvantageous engagement. There are so many angles that they can be, and they can just have an advantage over you. Don't, like, this is off limits unless you're going with your whole team. Also, you're doing a little bit of a, you're not lurking as in hiding, but you're lurking as in you're going the wrong direction from your team, which means if your team isn't going to be able to beat their team, so imagine these four guys, are worse than these four, so let's imagine these four guys are better than these four guys, okay? But you help your team, well then maybe you can win. But if you're doing what you're doing here, where look at what your team's doing, either they've taken that site and you're going to win the round anyways, or they've died and they haven't taken the site and you're going to lose the round no matter what, because you have done absolutely nothing to further your team's position in this game. Now, you did just get a kill on someone flanking, but that's such an irrelevant kill because either these guys took the site or they died already. So that kill, even if like that kill only secures the round positively past the point that it's already at. So if these guys both died and they hadn't won anything and now you're in a 1-on-5, getting that kill means fuck all. But now that they take the site, then like getting that kill does mean something. So basically what you're doing here by playing this kind of situation where you're peeking out middle and you're going the opposite direction of your team, you're basically saying, I hope my team is better than their team, and if they're not, then we're fucked. And that's just not a good situation to put yourself in. You always want to be trying to force your team to win engagements. Now, the other thing you shouldn't have done is running out mid like that, because again, if these two guys that were in sight, it was Chicken and Fixie, I think, if they both died, then you're here, you have an AFK, and the bomb is easily defused. So you got to make sure you're always in a position where you can grab or go over and stop that bomb defuse if it happens. Now your whole team is following you, which just sucks. Running through vents here though with an op is just a terrible idea. Generally it's just not going to be a good idea. Just go a certain direction. Go with your team and try and make that work. Going through vents is just very dangerous unless you have a very clear reason to think that nobody else is going to be there and you're going to be going solo against the rest of their team. Going through vents like that is just bad. Your peeking seems to be fine, so there doesn't seem to be a problem with that so far. But again, you need to make sure you're thinking before you're throwing those nades. Think about this. Okay, look at where that nade's going to blow up. So it's going to damage anybody in this general area. But hey, think about it like this. Who's going to be in this general area and not also peeking you, right? Like, so what you're doing is you're going to have a nade that either that nade hits nobody or it hits someone that already fucking killed you because you threw your nade from the middle of the open. You can't be throwing nades from the middle of the open like that. It's just bad. It's not going to work out. Like think about it like that though. Like, right? Like, who's that nade gonna damage that isn't shooting you in the fucking dome, like, as you throw the nade? Like, nobody.
I throw the flashback. I'm planting the bomb. Has been planted.
So here, you gotta make sure you're clearing out these spots one by one, but also, like, the most common spots, like, you don't want to commit yourself to being out here. It's kind of an intricate thing, but you don't want to commit yourself to being past the spot where you can fall back, like, past this wall here, until you're sure that nobody's gonna peek you from here and nobody's gonna peek you from here. Because if you get to here and then they start to peek from here and here, then you're kind of trapped where you are now. You can't get back, you can't fall back, and you need to take some engagements, and there can often be very bad engagements. So again, going through vents there, what does that accomplish? If you get a kill, congratulations. Still doesn't fucking matter because your team's on the other side of the map. So why does it matter to go vents? You got to be trying to support your team here. You go up through Speedway and you try and take control of A site. Going through vents is doing absolutely no semblance of good for your team. You always want to be working with your team. Even if your team's on the other side of the map and they're trapped, you're working to free them so that you can win the round. Anyways, that peak was really good. That's a standard peak. But once you get that peak, why not run out mid? Because you know they've lost a player mid. At this point, you should probably recognize that they're only playing one, maybe two mid, because that's how they've been playing all half. So if you've been paying attention, you know that they're only playing one mid. Why get that frag and then fall back? You can get that frag and then push up and get advanced control of mid by pushing up to like right here, or even running up Speedway, or you could even get in vents where you don't want to push into checkers, but you can get in vents so you just hold control of Speedway a little bit, right? Like, why fall back? You've basically done your job and gotten control of an area, but then you've decided, fuck that, I don't want control of that area. So you've basically done something and then totally not taken the advantage, because CS isn't all about getting 5 frags and winning the round by getting frags. A lot about CS is taking control of areas, forcing their team out of position and getting frags or getting easy frags by having them out of position. But if you just kill someone mid and then you go to A and then you kill someone A and then you go to B and you kill someone B, this is a disadvantage situation. So is this, and so is this. Instead, if you kill someone mid, take out mid, get advantage control of mid, and then split A, then this is a disadvantage situation, but this is an advantage situation. So you're making your chance at winning the round much better. not really much you can do there other than just try and frag out. One thing you got to recognize, though, is, like, decisiveness there. You kind of sat in the middle of the open here on these stairs as you fired away at him. What you want to be doing is moving out and to the left there as you shoot at him, because you don't know if someone could come up behind you like that. So either you go into the, like, either you ignore this guy, like forget about him and jump into A main and try and clear this and then turn around and kill this guy afterwards, or you move out over here while shooting at that guy, and that way that these guys that come out through A main aren't going to be able to shoot you in the back. If you sit here, you're going to be shot at from this guy here, right? If you're like sitting here, you can shoot at you from here, and anybody A main can come out and shoot you in the back, so you're just in a very dangerous situation there.
I throw in a flashbang. I throw in a flashbang.
So now you're 3-on-2. Definitely want to be getting into like good position. Jumping again. Don't jump too much unless you're in a situation where you're trying to jump to like check a corner or something. Pushing into CT here, very dangerous, because you have to consider it like this. They're not going to be able to win a 1-on-3 unless someone on your team fucks up. Okay, that's just not going to happen, because you can play so many like angles where you're supporting each other, and even if one guy dies, the other two are going to be in a 2-on. Like they're not going to win a 1-on-3. It shouldn't happen. They will win a 1-on-2. So when you push into CT like this, kind of unnecessarily, and if you die, then he's in a 1-on-2, and it's not that like your team could lose that without necessarily screwing up just by their team playing well. But a 3-on-1, your team has to fuck up to lose this, right? Again, you jumped across there. Again, bad, especially when they're on gun rounds, especially when you have an op. Strafe out. There's no reason to jump across. And there's no reason to continuously repeat. There, you knew that guy. Okay, he shoots it for you from here. Then he shoots at you from here, then from here, and then he shoots at you from here. Obviously, he's running up to here, and you need to be falling back and then holding an angle like that. You always want to leave yourself a place to fall back, because what's going to happen is it's clear that he's running up like this, right? And if you miss a shot on him when he's right here, he's going to catch you before you can fall back. You cannot get back to here or here. So you need to be aware that you want to fall back so that if you miss your next shot, then you can still fall back again. So you take a shot when he's here, you take a shot when he's here, you take a shot when he's here, then you fall back and take a shot when he's here, then you fall back again, take a shot when he's here, then it takes, like, you're like falling back in this sort of angle all the way over to A, right, where you can always fall back, because now you're totally stuck, you can't move, and you miss your last shot, and you're totally fucking dead. How do we submit demos? Submit at vooscsgo@gmail.com and submit a Dropbox or MediaFire.demo file instead of Steam Run Game. Here, again, you're doing a lot of wide peeking. You're doing a lot of, the jumping across thing is kind of a symptom of wide peeking, where you peek out. Instead of peeking out close to a corner where you're only showing your shoulder and you can unpeek if you lose the engagement, you peeked out very wide there. So as soon as you saw two people, you were already dedicated to that engagement. There was no way you were getting away. So you need to make sure that you're always peeking into situations where you can fall back. Getting killed there, I mean, it's dangerous to hold two flashes out there. Just throw one. The second flash is kind of unnecessary. Just throw that one, you'll be fine. Also, if you're throwing a flash, always throw it from behind as much cover as possible. Like, you see how Fixie here? He's hugging that left wall. Throw a flash from where Fixie is. Instead, you're throwing it when you're, like, out like this, which means anybody peeking into A main is going to kill you really easily because you have a nade out. The guy with the gun wants to hug the right wall. The guy with the flash wants to hug the left wall. That's just a really dangerous angle and peek to take, because if they have an op there, they're going to kill you pretty easily, but oh well. Here, this is kind of a bad example of how to play on pistol rounds, because what you want to be doing with USP, okay, so ideally, imagine like you're at mid, okay? No, where's a good angle? Imagine you're at Squeaky, okay? Imagine the spawns worked like this, where before you got here, they would be like right here, okay? So what you would want to do, take this angle, take a few shots, take this angle, take a few shots, take this angle, take a few shots, take this angle. Like, you see what you're doing? Because as a 5-man Glock rush, which is generally what they're going to do, they're going to overwhelm you if you try and lock down an angle. So you always want to get an aggressive positioning like Fixie kind of has here, although I would prefer to peek it from like over to the side on this side, take a few shots, and then you can fall back and take some more shots so that you're never getting overwhelmed, and you're using your superior firepower to get a couple shots off, land a couple of headshots, get a couple of kills, and continue to fall back and continually use your weapon advantage, because your gun is great at long range, but it doesn't matter what gun you have, 5 of them are going to overwhelm you. And here you're like doing the opposite of using your weapon advantage. You're in a corner where you can't fall back. You're stuck here. There's no reason for you to be playing there.
Let's go.
And now you're totally screwed. 1 on 3. You know the bomb's planted A. Nice shot there. And then you reload it. Not much to say about this. You just need to land a shot. Yeah, there's not much to say about that. You just need to land a shot. Now you've got a P2000, a smoke, a flash, and a kit. Why? What is the reason for that? You've just spent $900 on nothing. Why do you need a kit? In what situation are they on a buy round going to get a bomb planted, but you need a kit to win the round? Like, almost none. If you were to put that into a money situation, okay, your team, for losing a round, you get 14, or you get 1900, okay, on this round. You get 1900. For winning a round, you get 33, okay? So if you're putting it into a money situation, your team, each team member is going to make 1400 for an extra round win, right? So 1400 times 5, I'm a little bit retarded, but it's what, 7,000. So for you to make this worth it, you need 7,000 over 400, whatever that is, but it needs to make sense in terms of that regard. And it doesn't. It just doesn't. Buying a kit doesn't make any sense. Buying a P250 makes 1,000 times more sense, because then you have a gun that can actually get kills. Because where the fuck are you ever going to get a kill with the P2 or with the P2000? They have much better firepower. They're going to aim punch you. They're just going to kill you. Like, it's just Ninja Defuse. People are saying in chat, Ninja Defuse. I guess, but I mean, it's just, that's what he wanted. I guess, yeah, I guess he wanted to Ninja Defuse. Still doesn't make sense to me, but I guess if you want a Ninja Defuse, go for it. But still, P2000 or P250 makes a lot more sense. If you're trying to win the game, go for a P250. But I guess, yeah, I guess you are up so much at this point that you're just going for a Ninja Defuse, which is fine, but think about it like this. Okay, so you win half 12-3, you lose pistol round 12-6. You lose first gun round 12-8. You lose second gun round 12-10. So you've lost effectively 3 rounds. You've effectively lost 3 rounds there. Pistol round and first and second gun round, and they have 10 rounds. That's how fucking fast this game can get out of hand. You gotta take it seriously at all times. Like, you can't. This is how you lose games, when you go for Ninja Defuses and you screw around. And not only that, it gets worse, because a lot of the time you're gonna find that you screw around for a few rounds and then you can't get serious again, and then they win the game because of that. Anyways, now on a 2-on-2, you probably should have taken your time to take that shot just a little bit better, because he could have easily turned around and headshotted you, but he didn't. So no harm, no foul, I guess. Taking that engagement was fine, because, or if you know they're saving, taking that engagement's fine. If you think they might be buying, taking that engagement is a disadvantage engagement for you, because they're going to have an AK. AK's better than an M4, and you always got to think about it risk reward. So what do you say? Maybe Cash is a 60-40 map, so 60-40, and then you have a 40-60 engagement, right? That's a 40-60 engagement. Doesn't make sense, right? Because you have, not only is it a bad engagement in terms of the actual engagement is bad for you, but it's a bad engagement in terms of the map is CT sided and you're taking an engagement that isn't more CT sided than the map is. So if you're in a 70-30 map like Nuke, you only want to be taking engagements where you have, like, if possible, like a 70% advantage. If you have a 50-50 map, only take engagements that are 50-50 or better. It's sort of like that.
Roger that.
now you're 2 on 5. Just save your gun there. There's no way you're winning that round. It's not worth it. Now you're totally broke. You have to save. You save your gun there, you're in a much better position. So going for an injured defuse again, I guess. But now you like. I mean, if you're gonna go for an injured defuse, please get a P250 at least. At least like hopefully get some kills. The only way you get kills with P2000 is to do exactly what you did there, where you get a perfect flash and the guy's running right at you. So here, all you have to worry about with that smoke is you need to unpeak as that smoke dissipates. You can't be behind the smoke as it or when it dissipates, or else you're in a terrible spot. You need, before it dissipates, you need to move. What I would recommend is breaking that vents early if you're going to boost up, or if you have any plans of boosting up, because as you break it late, they're going to hear you break it, and a lot of good teams are going to turn around. So for that, you got to make sure you're thinking, like, when they're not looking at you, when they have their back turned, just line up the easy shot. You took so many shots there. I mean, a reasonably good player would just turn around and kill you. Just line up the easy shot and take it. Don't force yourself to shoot him incredibly quickly. Because what's the point, right? You're not gaining anything by shooting quickly when they're not going to react to you unless you shoot. You're only losing things. All right, so there you probably could have stayed in vents and been a little bit less committed. Although jumping out of vents and trying to surprise someone did make a little bit of sense there, so I can't really blame you. Here, you shouldn't be pushing up mid unless you have a smoke. It's too dangerous to try and get pushed up. Definitely with a deagle, your ideal range is going to be like from here to here. That's your ideal range, or like from like here to here, where you're not close range, but you're not long range. You're just inside of medium range, like close medium range, where you can hit those 1Ds and you're not like gonna get aim punched instantly. So playing behind sandbags, like that angle here, or crouching behind sandbags, waiting for them to run up speedway, then catching them in the bag, very good angles. Running up mid is not good. So here you have a Bison, which is just not a good gun. Instead of getting a Bison, get a 5.7. It's just better against people that have guns. You use a Bison and a 5.7 in basically the same way, except the 5.7 is gonna kill them way quicker. So there's nothing really weird you did there, but you had a terrible gun, so there's not much you're gonna do about it. And again, you have a Bison. You had 3,600 there. It's much better to buy, before this round you had 3,600. Instead of buying a Bison, full nades, and a kit, and full armor, buy a FAMAS, body armor, a smoke, and a flash. It's much better. It's just a better situation. Even though you're not going to have full nades, you have a gun that can actually kill people. Okay, I believe this is the end of the game. Yeah, your team wins this round. Game's over. So, anyways, that was a quick review, and we're done here.